Hello. Bro, I already have played Pokemon Go. Hello, 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 hello. Can I copy? Hey guys, welcome back to once again. How can I use this mixture this side? How to make this one active? गेम वाला इसमें मिक्सअप कैसे हो रहा है? Hello, hello.
PRIMO coming in! PRIMO coming in!
Hello, 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 hello.
Oh, these are the clothes that the lady chosen from the audience was when her clothes are here. But she's nowhere to be found. Right.
Young lady's cloth.
The floor is wet. Please be careful not to slip.
Speaking of which... And here's a broken...
Flower vase. Library.
Looks like a hook
Book.
tied to the end of a rope.
Perhaps it was a prop for a different trick.
Why
But
to
why would it have
Whatever it is.
book? Done. Just a few more left. Oh, yeah, I done.
What is this place?
It seems someone could fit through here.
It means someone have passed through there.
Could this have been the suspect's escape route?
Yes.
Alone, perhaps. But if they had to pull another person with them, the space would be too narrow.
Wait, there are no other ways in or out of here.
क्या बात?
Oh, you're right. Let Paimon write that down.
Tunnel vent.
Seems we're just about done investigating down here.
Yes. Let's head back up.
900 elements.
Well, we've ascertained the state of the crime scene. Let's find a place to sort out our findings.
It seems to
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle.
So, what did the guards say? Did the criminal escape through the vent?
They believe the odds of that are very low, since the vent leads to the opera house's base. The guards have checked the area carefully. No one left through the basement during the performance or after the incident. and no one was found hiding there.
So the tunnels become like a secret chamber then.
Plot thickens. Halsey's disappearance and Cowell's death are both quite inexplicable. No wonder Farina was so confident in her accusation. All the current evidence points toward Linny and Lynette.
In other words, the charges are very likely to be upheld unless we make some considerable...
Charges?
That's right. This is how a trial goes in the Opera House. During the proceedings, the Chief Justice and the oratrice will hear statements from both sides. That's right. This is how in-depth statements from both sides, the defenses from attorneys, witness testimonies, and even the audience's emotions will all be projected on the oratory. To put it simply, it's as if the oratrice has its own...
This also precludes any kind of favoritism on the part of the Chief Justice. Not that this has ever happened anyway.
Once both sides have finished speaking, the Chief Justice will make his final decision. This, too, will be used by the oratrice as a reference. Then, finally, the oratrice will be consulted by officials. The result it returns is the will of justice itself.
Newlet.
So that machine is the one that decides? I thought Novelet called the shot.
In practice, there is very little difference. Both have always come to the same judgment, which is why people have great faith in the Chief Justice. Ah, yes, the guards also asked me to convey that none of us will be allowed to leave this place before the trial.
Huh? Why?
Because we've chosen to act as the twins' proxies. That makes us persons related to the case.
They're concerned that we might be colluding with outside parties, or that we might find outside help to disrupt the case. And even if that were not so, it could prove problematic if we happen to spread key information about the case ahead.
I'm ready to break out at any time.
Oh, there's no need for that. Lena thinks they have a point. That said, are they providing food?
Of course. I just hope you don't mind the lack of options. I'm afraid that catering to all tastes is not in the cards, nor is any guarantee of balanced nutrition.
In that case, let's just sort out our findings together here. Kitty, I was hoping to take you to try some of Fontaine's famous dessert. I mean, what better way to properly think through our findings than over some tea and sweets?
Huh. Breaking out suddenly doesn't seem like such a bad idea after all. Just kidding, just kidding. Lena will still do her best, even if there are no snacks.
What do you mean, no snacks? Of course we'll have snacks. If we cannot buy some, then we'll simply make some.
Huh? Here? But how?
Understood, mademoiselle. Everyone, please come with me.
माइक से कैसे दोनों जा रहे हैं यार? माइक एंड नॉक्स समझ में नहीं आता मुझे.
Wait, you're carrying a portable stove with you?
Yes, I must be prepared to meet the demoiselle's baking needs whenever the fancy strikes her.
I have eggs, sugar, and almonds at the ready.
Good work, you two. Then I'll get to it.
Please sit tight for a moment. You'll get to taste my awesome snacks soon enough.
These three are quite the interesting group.
Biometrically handles the ingredients and
Even that it smelled good while it was still in the oven. Oh, it's even better now. Hyman, from the way you had these two guys carrying all that stuff around, Hyman thought you'd have them do more during the baking process. But you ended up doing the entire thing by yourself. Beating the egg whites, grinding almonds, everything.
I was applauding.
And I was giving encouraging smiles.
I was just thinking, aren't you worried about getting your fancy dress dirty, beating egg whites and baking like this?
Well, I don't think it's carved in stone anywhere that fancy ladies can only read books, sip tea, ride horses, and play the piano. I just really enjoy making snacks. Don't underestimate
even I
beating
like
egg
cooking.
whites, by the way. It's a real arm workout. You also need to beat them to just the right consistency, or your macarons will crack anyway. Give these a try, fresh out of the oven. There's 3 for each of us.
Only 3?
Well, Eating too many sweet treats might send all that sugar to your head. You wouldn't be able to think clearly about the case on a sugar rush,
Less
would you?
sugar is the
Tea is
best.
ready to be served as well. This is Demoiselle's favorite. Strong black tea with a floral fragrance that clears the mind and lifts the spirit. No need for concern. I'm merely doing as I should.
I think I should have picked the second one.
All right then. Down to business. As Paimon mentioned previously, the tunnel seems to be something of a secret chamber. However, we can assume that Linny and Lynette were not alone within it. Some criminal also occupied its sealed confines. The magician twins could have committed the crimes, of course, but they left.
Exactly! Why would they do such a thing right when everyone was watching?
The flower vase and the thud we heard during the performance could indicate some altercation between Halsey and the criminal in the tunnel, resulting in the shattering of the vase, the discarding of her clothes, and her abduction. Perhaps the criminal thought that since she was chosen from the crowd, she would be too easy to identify if she was still wearing the same clothes.
Paimon thinks that makes sense, but the real trouble is...
True. None of the clues we found thus far support the existence of this third but the only people left to consider are both technically victims, whether it's the missing girl, Halsey, or poor Cowl.
Huh. Could Halsey have secretly made modifications to the magic props in order to murder Cowl before making her escape?
That's right. And even if she had tampered with the setup, she would need to understand the entire trick to pull it off. Nor does she have any motive. The guards said that she has never had any dealings with the magic troops.
Were we not thorough enough in our search? From the sound of things, this is turning into an impossible case. Your macarons are amazing, though, Nadia. They smell great! They're nice and crisp.
They are my specialty, after all. And I see you've already had 5 of them.
What? 5? Oh, that can't be right. Paimon only counted 3, honest.
Please don't worry about it. At my age, a few less sweets might actually be a good thing.
No. Being greedy is one thing, but Paimon knows how to count. Besides, Paimon knows that if she ate too many, then others wouldn't have enough. Wait, even beautiful, Paimon? If Paimon ate those 2 extra macarons, then may they turn into stone in her stomach.
All right, we get it. Well, I suppose one of us might have gotten too engrossed in our chat and eaten them by Michaeloos. Set up the stove again, if you would.
Huh? What are you doing?
Making sure everyone gets 3 macarons, of course.
Exactly. We don't want to...
As you wish, there were...
I have the egg, sugar, and almonds.
Wow, this...
Someone is there. Someone
Well,
is
that's it for
visible
snack
there.
time. I'm going to have another look around the area. I don't know what we're looking for yet, but we've still got some time. As attorneys, I suggest the 2 of you think the case over. It would be awkward if you got all tongue-tied on stage.
Thanks for your help.
It was nothing. A small task for the Spina di Rosula. Silver, Maloose, it's time to go. I'll be back if I find anything new.
Alright, it's time to put our heads together. We've got to get our defense ready for the trial.
मैं बाहर
It's
जाना
probably
चाहता
gonna be a long and difficult case.
Can I go outside, please? I can't. If I will go, the progress will affect.
They should help you review the situation. Nice and spicy.
Following day 8.
Information is so confusing. Good plan. Impossible things don't just happen. We'll get to the truth one way or another.
Just relax. Even if everyone else suspects Lenny and Lynette, at least we will be supporting them from the stand. Besides, I doubt Verena understands any more about what happens than we do.
Thanks, Navia. Well, we'll be going then.
Best of luck to you.
Ah, finally, you're back. Well, how did your investigation go?
To be honest,
No. We're already very grateful that you were willing to help. Well, now, don't you all look disappointed? Don't tell me that your investigation came up empty. That was to be expected, of course. The guilty can never produce proof of their innocence, but don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed should you, my most anticipated foe, concede so easily.
Since both parties are present, I declare that the trial regarding the magic show incident is now in session. Firstly, in order for the audience to understand the causes and results of the incident, could we please have Mr. Linney explain the trick?
Yes, of course. I will explain while Lynette demonstrates on stage. All the necessary items have been prepared.
Thank you, Mr. Linney. In that case, I take your statement to be that you ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stands once the trick began, and thus could not have committed the crime. Is this correct?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
In that case, I call upon the prosecution. Lady Farina, do you wish to refute his statement in any way?
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Linney is clearly lying. There is no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder Cowell. In fact, I'd say you were hardly in.
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so? And if I may ask, what did you hear while you were inside?
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipation for the finale.
And you didn't hear anything else at all? Nothing that might leave an impression of any kind?
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thud. One so loud that I believe practically everyone heard it.
Huh?
hey, hang on. Something's not right here.
Yeah, I'm sure you could have heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
I was right by the box, and I definitely heard the thud.
Those scales. Both being
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to use the words of the magician himself. You never know what can happen in the blink of an eye. Indeed, it seems his alibi can also collapse in the blink of an eye. Of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and my foundations are rock solid. Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from the House of the Hearth?
The House of the Hearth?
No wonder he did something like this.
So the serial disappearances were the two he's doing. Now it all makes sense. I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably wasn't just an accident.
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us everything that happened during that one. Your first priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm sure there is little that needs to be kept secret now. Unless your script already has holes in it. The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the infighting in Discord, I suppose. This was almost too easy. Oh, good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the all-nighter I pulled last night is really...
Hey, Winnie, why didn't you tell us this before?
Order! Order! Mr. Linney, allow first. When the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Second, you and Miss Lynette are both members of the House of the Hearth. Are these claims true? Please answer my question.
पकड़ा गया
Sorry.
पकड़ा गई पूरी ना
Yes, they're true.
I knew it!
Well, that's it. We might as well move on to the sentencing already.
What you was doing now?
Granted. In that case, what is your request?
I request a brief adjournment. There are things that not to be
Is that
discussed.
really necessary? They're already as good as guilty.
The defendant deceived their own attorneys. What is there left to discuss?
Order! Order, I say! Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn. This trial will reconvene in 1 hour.
So you would stick to Mr. Linney's defense even after knowing what you do now? You certainly have more professionalism than I thought. In that case, my dear audience, let's allow the joy of victory to steep for a little while longer.
Well, this is awkward. I didn't think the Hydro Archon would dig all that up. Sorry, Traveler.
Yeah.
Just knew it. We based our entire reasoning on the assumption that you weren't there to set the wrong tone or anything. But Ken was really mad.
Very sorry. I know you've clashed with the Matuis several times before. I wouldn't be surprised if just hearing the words is enough to make you upset. But our organization is very, very large, and the Harbingers have very different personalities and goals.
Right now, we want to save people. As many as we can.
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page when it comes to this nation and the disaster that its people might face. I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, we could become good friends. That's why I didn't wish to flat out lie to you, but chose to hide some details instead. The truth is very important, but being completely transparent about everything would see us spending more effort than we need to. Right. So, you be the judge. Heck, if I were you, I fear that I'd even struggle to trust me at this point. You met a Fatuz who works as a magician, a trickster by trade. But still, I'm asking you to trust me. I am no criminal. At least, not in this case.
Sorry.
Well, you both say that, but Right. Let's hear your answer first, and no lies now.
Of course. I'll answer any. We've been trying to find out how the Oratrice operates. We want to know why it has consciousness. Why can it deliver sentences accurately? During our investigations, we learned that the machine's core is beneath it. From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick with the objective of getting close to the core.
Is that why you needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to get to the opposite box. So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via the vent, and went to investigate the room in which the core is stored.
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel specifically to execute this step.
Well, nothing. As soon as I reached that room and was about to investigate, I heard, which should have been impossible, of course. I was quite certain that I was the only one in the room. That voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to err on the side of caution and retreated the way I came. On the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground, but the countdown was almost finished, so there wasn't time to give it any thought. After that, the homicide occurred just as you said.
That explains why you didn't hear the thud.
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course. We must know all we can about this nation's secrets in order to deal with that prophesized crisis.
That's the only way we can save everyone.
So, there you have it. The whole truth. I swear, I didn't hide anything from you. It was never my wish to proceed under this cloud of mistrust either. But, like I said earlier, you can be the judge. If you want to leave because you don't trust the Patui, there's nothing I can do to stop you.
Well, travelers, you decide. PRIMO will follow your lead however you choose.
Okay,
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is that the skills are tipped pretty badly against you two. If we want to refute the Hydro Archon's accusations, we're gonna need a seriously watertight defense. Huh? Oh, I don't think she gets what you mean.
Both parties have returned to their positions. Let us continue the trial. When last we left off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue stating her reconstruction of the events.
That took long enough. Now then, if everyone would lend me their attention. At this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linney's perspective.
When a vision account of even you can riddle. Use evidence and clues obtained during the investigation to refute any erroneous assertions of fact and replace them with them. Use your report to comment the audience and obtain support for the report of display such secret. When you find a refute all incorrect content, you can complete the cycle of reaction. Guy and Farina.
As the countdown began, he entered the tunnel. When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which caused the loud thud. He did not realize that the sound could be heard by everyone in the opera house, which is why he claimed earlier that he could not hear the sound. Finally, he used the vase to knock her out, before making her change clothes to prevent others from recognizing her. At this time, Cowl arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange noise, and caught Linny red-handed. So Linny proceeded to knock him out too before stuffing him into that box. Afterward, Linny passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic box in the audience stands, before operating the devices such that Cowl's death would be ruled an accident.
Oh my god, how can I?
And there you have it. That's the truth behind what happened.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady Farina's description of the events?
My god, how can I able to? The story is well made by Furina, man.
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of events, what Lenny experienced and what he saw.
It's gonna be tough. I hope they will give some clue. Identify the loopholes. Lenny action in the tunnel. Lenny claims that he headed to the chamber containing the Oracle core upon entering the tunnel and did not witness the crime taking place and thus did not hear the threat.
Seems this won't produce a particularly effective rebuttal.
The voice of her.
Seems...
Ah, man. Then this. What is the correct way, man? Lenny attacked Halsey. Lenny and Halsey fight, but Lenny claimed that he had nothing in order to cover up the truth.
According to
Okay.
Lenny, he left via the vent after entering the tunnel.
Okay, so yeah, basically
He
Lenny
had that
went to the.
altercation with Halsey.
So that thing is okay. Lenny kidnapped Halsey. Entrance exit to the Bora house. Lenny must have been very confused when he saw them. Strange sound.
Lenny went to the room that contains the Oratrice's core. This is the actual truth. Lenny did not take part in the underground altercation. He only witnessed traces of the aftermath.
Attention! Ace Detective Paimon has something to say! When the countdown started, Lenny did indeed go into the tunnel, but he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement, which is where the underground core of the Oratrice is stored. Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been an empty room. Since he felt something was amiss, he returned immediately. The crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the tunnel again, and in order to complete the magic trick, he did not remain there for any length of. Finally, he reached the surface, and that was when the accident happened from his point of view. Therefore, he's innocent.
Okay, it's successful reputation. Hello, hola, clue bhai. Hola, hola. पाइमोन ने नहीं, मैंने किया. I did it, not Paimon.
In other words, you believe that he knew nothing of the incident?
That's right.
My reasoning. The stage equipment was clearly tempered with a premeditated fashion.
If that's the case, then if
इंटरेस्टिंग होते जा रहा है भाई स्टोरी.
Your denial is very strident. I'll give you that. But what proof do you have to back your claims? Of course I do. If he had been in the magic box the whole time, how could we have not heard that sound? Why do you ask? You're saying that he wasn't.
Your claim has now become my weapon. Yes. Which is the evidence that Lenny wasn't in the tunnel when the crime took place? Information about the missing lady identity.
Are you sure we don't need to give this more thought? Hyman thinks there's something on it.
Strange sound during the magic show. Tunnel vent. Irrelevant. These are irrelevant. So new magic.
Lenny wasn't in the box or in the tunnel. That's why he didn't hear anything strange during the performance. This means that when the crime happened,
Lenny had already entered the basement
via the
vent.
The same clue you used to disprove his alibi has now become the best proof. How do you like that?
Well, you use such logic. Well then, if it wasn't Lenny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
अरे भाई पूरी नहीं है वो. Select the gear icon in the interface to check the corresponding case. Select answer and fill all the empty gears to verify the correctness of your deduction. If you have made mistake, you must make another selection from the remaining option. Once you answer all the questions correctly, you can complete this logic chain. Ah man, it's interesting. It's becoming super interesting. The guard investigation report indicates that the firework released near the end of the show ignited and burned through the rope suspending the water tank above the stage. This caused the water tank to fall kill. If Lenny is no longer under the suspension, only the temper the okay. Lenny gave the detailed account of the trick was having changed outfit. Take charge. The cloth belonging to her, see, the lady who went missing were found in the tunnel. The reason for the remains unknown. Who was the person who could possibly have committed the crime?
There have been a third person involved. Is that really a possibility?
Hypothesis is correct.
The deceased's name is Cowell, Lindy's assistant. He would have.
Okay, so basically कितने स्टोरी खत्म कर लिया. अभी मैं फाउंटेन वाले पे आ चुका आर्कॉन क्वेस्ट के.
That can't be right. Are you serious? The killer was in
Oh, is that so?
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowell did. How he went from would-be perpetrator.
How? Okay, Kaval plan and situation inside. How can we investigate? Lenny has been unable to interfere with the crime. Select any clue to detail the information.
No one entered or left the opera house through its entrances. So where would the criminal have
Hi
wanted
Bonnie,
to
welcome to
take
this
all
live stream.
The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Linny as well.
Okay, ये भी सही है. Okay, so now I need to select these.
The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment.
तीन गलत थे, एक सही था.
It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel, so there must have been some fear that she would attract attention. Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave... The deceased's name is Cowell. Linny
Now
was not in the tunnel.
these three are here.
No one entered or left the opera house. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. The deceased's name is Cowell. It would have been tough for both.
Cowell and वो दो तो आ गए. I think Lenny is
Lenny was
definitely.
not in the tunnel. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel.
Okay. एक रह रहा है. How he died. Cowell had all the means to commit the crime. At the stray noise could likely have been the sound of Cowell and Halsey struggling. Lenny was in the tunnel for 1 minute. This would have given time for Cowell to bring Halsey. Many would have seen this. But according to the testimony, no one entered or left the opera house. So even if we had taken, there would be no mean exiting from a box at the full view of the audience, pretty much guaranteeing that they would be
What's
discovered.
wrong, Trevor? Are you still having trouble figuring things out?
I see how it is. See, this was all just a bluff. And here I thought you had something to show for it. But it seems you are still far from the truth.
Look, since we're at a dead end, why not consider it just like the trick as it transpired? The end result must have been utterly different from the magician's initial.
If only we knew how Halsey disappeared. Well, it would be nice, but the tunnel only has 3 exits, and none of them seem very likely. And it's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real-life person disappear. You know, like you did from that water tank, Lynette.
Wait, could it be have been the water?
Oh, excuse my interruption, dear opponents. But do you not see that the crowd is growing impatient? There is no greater sin in this opera house than an awkward delay.
Oh,
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
hold on a second.
Lenny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. The deceased's name is Cowell, Lenny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment. The vase was not broken by chance. It was used to cover important evidence. The water.
Yes, I got all of them correct.
It all comes together and Halsey disappeared instead of being kidnapped. Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually and leaving only clothes behind. If there's a similar method where a person could be transformed into water...
Oh, just a moment, please. I do hope you know how preposterous you. How could a person ever be transformed into water? This is reality we're talking about here, not some
Marina
magic
is
trick.
going to be in jail.
Must we really? I should think that of anyone. Your friend Linny already knows this. Magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and misdirection.
You are.
But Halsey's disappearance is very real. We're talking about two complete.
Even so, the truth must be out there somewhere.
Perhaps
the
someone
new
new
line
line
of
of
reasoning
this may
will
open
try
a
to
bit
gather
like
all the
a
focal
focal
points that
point
don't
that
make
don't
sense.
make sense.
Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much attention on him. But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't hurt to have a look at his belongings, would it?
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the end of their rope. The way I see it, your suggestion that we broaden the scope of our investigation is nothing but a tactic for stalling.
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney.
No,
Since the trial does indeed appear to
Hewlett
be at a
looks
climax,
amazing,
I
man.
believe that additional
Oh my
evidence
god,
may help us make more
he's
progress.
looking amazing.
Guards, please step into the lounge and examine
Oh
the
my
personal
God.
effects of the deceased Cal.
Damn sure. After the Mavika, I will
We
definitely
are
try
still
to collect
examining the items.
enough
We have
PRIMO
already
for
made
Hewlett.
critical progress that we feel must be shared with everyone post haste. We discovered
Noma,
several test
white
tubes
beard
of fluid
Kobe.
within Cal's
Yeah.
baggage,
Love
each
Pokemon.
labeled separately.
White beard? He gone.
The notebook in his backpack claims that these fluids are
Water from primordial sea.
The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that sells illegal drugs, and he had accomplices. The notebook has many entries concerning safe usage of these fluids, in which the keyword dissolve. One of these tubes was labeled Opera Epicles, along with yesterday's date. The notes also state that these dissolution properties work exclusively on people from Fontaine. It's likely that Halsey was chosen as some sort of test subject. As such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is, in fact, supported by sufficient evidence.
You've got to be kidding! People dissolving into water?
Could something so ridiculous actually be true?
This reminds me of a certain prophecy. It's just a
वाइट बेड को
coincidence.
पोकेमोन गो में वापस ले मैं कहाँ से ला सकते हैं जिनको जो खेलना होता है वही आ सकते
Does
हैं ना
that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means to hide water stains?
ऐसे हो मस्त हो
Powell was targeting that girl. Just a minute. That mean
आपने मैसेज कर लिया है ना
of me. Wait,
Then what's
बाकी
our
उनकी
wait?
इच्छा है
What about your partners?
let's
देखो
go. Just trust me.
until a guy don't want to play the game you can't able to
It is
doing
undeniable
someone.
that further examination of the deceased's personal effects has yielded some surprising results.
अरे कल भी
But
तो
we
आप आए
cannot
थे
yet verify the veracity of these clues. Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic, albeit with the understanding that Miss Halsey has yet to be found. Guards, please continue examining the items along these lines. Mr. Linney, it appears your hypothesis is supported by the evidence, so please continue.
Of course. Thank you, Your Honor. If we uphold this hypothesis, I
Now
believe
that
that many
many
of
of
this case's
investigation
seemingly
में
unrelated clues can be connected together.
और क्या हाल है बस मस्त ब्रो
That one didn't make sense at all. Think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that water from the primordial sea.
the liquid grade found in the color seem to have the ability to dissolve into the water who is the prime suspect
The
currently Cowell
deceased's name is Cowell.
Wesley, what item did the culprit use to control the timing of dissolution?
Jeanette was in the magic box on stage the entire time. I remember there was something else within the inner layer of that box.
वह भी साथ खेलेगा प्रोग्राम अच्छी बात है
Jeanette was in the magic box on
What item
stage
did
the
the
entire
culprit use to
time.
dissolve Wesley?
The
Actually,
water from the primordial sea.
what item did the culprit use to hide the mechanism behind the crime?
Jeanette was in the magic.
Two of them are not right.
The rope that held the water tank up was lit by the fireworks. Now it seems like the hook. Now it seems like the
What item did the culprit?
Jeanette was in the magic box on stage. The rope that held the water tank. seems like the... I remember it was something else.
और सुनो राज भाई, क्या चल रहा है और सुनाओ। बस अभी चल रहा है ब्रो, जेंसिंग का टाइम है, भाई ने सोच लिया जेंसिंग ग्राइंड है, मैं इसको लगातार खेलने वाला हूँ। नॉट ओनली जेंसिंग, आई विल बी प्लेइंग लॉट्स ऑफ पीसीज गेम वन बाय वन। जेंसिंग तो मैं खेलने वाला लगातार
Containing Halsey with power. The
as
metal
long as
hook
possible.
would retract gradually and pierce the balloon at the top of the box. When the balloon attached to the box popped, the water from the primordial seed inside it would pour down and dissolve Halsey.
अरे नहीं, वो तो चलते ही रहेगा यार।
Enter the tunnel and break the flower base to conceal the water inside the tunnel, with the remaining evidence being covered up by the water tank on stage.
मतलब कोई गेम अगर खेला जा रहा है तो जरूरी नहीं है कि पुराना वाला छोड़ दिया गया है। ओके, पुराना वाला भी खेला ही जा रहा है, ये बस एक नया ऐड ऑन है कह लो।
But he encountered something unexpected in the
बस
tunnel and wound up being fatally hit by the same water tank he meant to use to cover his tracks.
Huh. It does make sense. That actually links together a lot of the more confusing pieces of evidence.
What do I do? Even I think they sound convincing now.
है भाई, falsely है वो।
Falsely accused innocent person.
या तो सही है,
Humiliation.
गेम नहीं छोड़ना चाहिए। मैं भी फ्री
It seems
फायर
like the only
चैट से
point of
खेलूँ, ठीक
contention
है।
remaining is the exact circumstances that led to Cal's death. His notes mentioned he had an accomplice who could be related to the situation.
On that note, the guards have just contacted me indicating that they uncovered new evidence. I shall now invite him on stage to share
बाय
it
बाय,
with
टेक
us.
केयर निकुंज भाई। वैसे आप ये भी ट्राई कर सकते हो, जेंसिंग फोन में
We were
खेल
just
सकते हो ये।
inspecting the luggage of the other people involved in this case. And we found an identical sample of the water from the primordial sea among Linny's personal effects.
What?
That can't be. Oh, I see. Well, how wonderfully comedic to have your own counterattack only to come back. And what does this not clear all? My dear citizens, my loyal audience,
आप ये भी ट्राई कर
allow
सकते हो,
me
खेल
to
सकते हो ब्रो।
present my reasoning and bring this performance to us.
बिगनिंग
Lydia did not need to take part in the dissolution of the young woman at all. Indeed, he did leave the scene via the vent. Having made modifications to the props beforehand, his accomplice Cowell then caused Halsey to vanish using the water from the primordial sea. But upon his return, in cruel avarice, Linny desired sole credit and prepared to do away with his partner in crime. Ultimately, he knocked Cowell out, and the tool meant to cover the crime up also became a murder weapon. As much as I regret having come to such a viciously straightforward conclusion, it does seem that the famed Fatui is quite the cold-blooded and ruthless. Am I right, Mr.
We've used up all the evidence we collected. There's no way for us to make a rebuttal here. Is this the end of the road?
अरे नहीं यार, चिंता मत कर।
Using the water as new evidence was too good a move. I think we've all seen enough now. And we have ample witnesses tonight. I believe this is indeed... Now then, my good, noble Chief Justice, should we not, in your view, move... Excuse me, everyone, but I must
Miss, I must ask you not to shout and to respect the ongoing legal proceeding.
Oh, come on, don't be hasty. I have a good reason for interrupting, you know. Now, would anyone here like to take a little break from all this debate and see, I'll show you an amazing trick. One that can bring a young woman who has disappeared back in the flesh.
ब्रो पोकेमॉन
right
गो को
before your
क्या
very
हो रहा है?
eyes.
वाइल्ड स्पॉन
Please, do
क्या
the
हो रहा है?
honors, Mr. Linney, if you would be so kind. What in the world is she saying?
No offense, miss, but miracles like that are beyond my scope as a magician.
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about misdirection, isn't it? It often conceals the truth while presenting a fascinating illusion. Once
हाँ
everyone
वो सारा
believes the
वाइल्ड में मिल
illusion,
गया
can't magic reveal the truth
भाई
again
यही
once
तो
again?
फायदा है this month
And
is
wouldn't
basically
such a
bro
truth be the most marvelous finale to
the
today's
month
performance?
of you can say
Come on, Libby and Lynette, give it another
anniversary
go.
month Pokemon go anniversary month so obviously
Lena Di
you will
Rossi
see
has made the necessary arrangements on your behalf. But, as the magic makers and stars of the show, I think I should leave the final performance to you.
I understand.
ये बीच में आई बोल गई जज ने कुछ नहीं बोला
And voila!
ऐसा हो सकता है गलत बात है ना
Sorry for the interruption.
Wait, isn't that Halsey? So the whole thing about people dissolving wasn't true after all?
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of doing so would lessen my sentence. I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was afraid that I would be the one put on trial. I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me. And then, before I knew it, she caught me. That'll teach you to underestimate us three. Where should I begin? What? Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian, and I'm originally from Mondstadt. I heard that Linny's show was going to be a real thriller, but I missed the chance to buy a ticket, so I stole one. That's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there. And I'd never been caught before.
अरे
But
उस
I
टाइम
was
पे
noticed
किसी
at
ने
the
चोरी
harbor
की
a
थी
few
लग
days
रहा है
ago, and I barely got away. Lenny was the one who caught me in the act.
Hey, no wonder you look familiar. So you were
वही
the
तो
thief. Liddy even mentioned that you were pretty skilled.
Well, and I thought that would have been the end of it, but then the number selector, he even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. I thought he was on to me for sure. So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee. But then I got water poured on me for no reason, and then someone jumped into the tunnel to nab me. I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out and stuffed him into the box. There was nowhere to run from there, though, so I had to change my clothes and hide in a box containing performance costumes. I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued hiding inside the opera house.
Can a person even hide in there?
if they are practiced and concealment program
But I swear, I didn't know that the water tank would fall down. Really, had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box. I may be a thief, but I'm no killer.
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now, doesn't it?
This time, we need to tell the entire story from Lily Ann's
इस बार काय की बारी है let's go काय identify loopholes select evidence to refute the Lenny enter the tunnel यहाँ से होगा ना
See? The flower vase was not broken to cover anything up,
but was
smashed during the struggle between Lily. Lily Ann was afraid that she would be recognized if she left, so she changed clothes and hid, biding her time. Just what?
wasn't from a fight. It was
हेलो
Lillian's
अचित भाई,
attempt
क्या
to
हाल?
make out
व्हाट्सएप
that she
ग्रुप का
was
लिंक
right.
देना ब्रो। उनमें वही ऐड हो सकते हैं जो यहाँ पे प्ले करते हैं, ठीक है? मैं उन्हीं को रखते हैं जो यहाँ पे प्ले कर सकते हैं, लाइक
Selected out of the blue,
हमारे एरिया में प्ले करते हैं। बाकियों के लिए डिस्कॉर्ड है ब्रो।
her panically intensified after she entered the tunnel and had water poured on her head. So she kicked
ओके,
the
तो
door
फिर आपको
open,
ना
producing
ग्रुप
the
का जो
fire
लिंक है
we
वो
all
आपको मिल
heard.
जाएगा उसके अंदर। क्या बोलते हैं, आज मॉर्निंग में जो स्ट्रीम किया था ना मैंने रेड इनवाइट वाला, आप उसमें जाके चेक कर सकते हो। मॉर्निंग का जो रेड इनवाइट स्ट्रीम था उसमें।
Hearing the commotion, Powell
अब
leapt into the
लेकिन
tunnel,
ग्रुप ज्वाइन करने का
only to
पहले बता दूं,
discover that Lillian
कुछ
had
रूल है।
not still up.
आपको हमारे एरिया में प्ले करना पड़ेगा। इनकेस अगर आप कह जाते हैं तो आप पहले ही बता देंगे, बिना पूछे किसी को कॉल नहीं करना है। ऑब्वियसली ग्रुप को सही से मेंटेन रखना है ब्रो, दैट इज इट। बाकी तो हमेशा ऑन ही रहते हैं हम।
He did not know that Lillian was not from Fontaine, but was a thief who made her way in by mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial sea needed time to take effect. He tried to force Lillian back into the box.
ओके, कोई नहीं, फिर भी मैं क्लियर कर देना चाहता हूँ ना।
The two broke the flower vase during the struggle, but Lillian
जरूरी
came
होता है
out
ना
on top,
रूल्स आर
knocking
रूल्स।
Powell out and putting him in the box.
हाँ मैं समझ रहा हूँ, मैं कह रहा हूँ रूल्स जो है वो कोई भी दोबारा से ही ज्वाइन करें तो भी मेंशन करना जरूरी होता है। ओके,
With no way of escaping, she changed her clothes and hid in the costume trunk until the...
सक्सेसफुल रिफ्यूटेशन।
She knew that she would have to go through guard inspection if she tried to leave afterward. So, she has been trapped in the opera house these
वैसे आप
last
मुझे
2
कोई
days.
अच्छा पोकेमोन दे सकते हो जो
She had
अल्फा
already
लीग
become desperately
लीग
hungry
के
by the time
पोकेमोन
we
मैं
were
शेयर
trying
नहीं
over
करता
my
ब्रो।
rocks. So, she swiped 2 of them right under our noses. Talk about a sneaky thief.
At this point, all the events that happened in the tunnel have now come to...
Ah, so that's the whole bravo.
Now then, Lady Farina, do you wish to speak against the defense's statements? Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet ended. As such, I request that the prosecution not leave the room before the proceedings have concluded.
What? Are you reading my mind now? No, I have no further arguments. I admit defeat. But really, could you at least have left me with some dignity?
She's like a deflated balloon now.
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, I shall once again repeat the full sequence of events. The actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowell, selected his next victim from the audience reservation list. With some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-selected young woman would be chosen. To cover up any evidence while committing the deed, Cowell thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water left behind after the young woman was dissolved. He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop and hide the watermarks. He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box and stuck it to the box's lid. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman to said box. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon containing the water. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Lillian was not from Fontaine, and thus fled the box with a loud noise. Realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and met Lillian. Thinking that the waters had not yet taken effect, he decided to proceed. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed into the magic box, and thus became his own final victim. Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended, before hiding in other parts of the opera house. As for Linny, he was in the underground structures within the opera house, and was thus ignorant of these happenings. From this reconstruction of events, we can conclude that Linny, the accused, is in fact innocent.
Yeah.
While there is
took 1
much
hour.
in Linny and Lillian's conduct that should still be investigated separately, this case, at least, can be handed over to the oratories to make the final decision. As such, Linny and Lynette are officially declared
Not guilty. Order.
Great work, partners. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Next, I think we deserve an explanation, Guard Vault. How did you find the water from the primordial sea in Linny's baggage?
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know. Or was that not a discovery, but false evidence that you dared to bring before this?
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not Linny, but you, yeah. I'm sure you know what you must do to lessen your sentence.
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a one-way ticket to Cooper.
I was just told we were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui. The higher-ups said this was the best opportunity to do.
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, you have become a liability to said higher-ups, yes. Therefore, you would be wise to tell everything you know, and seek the protection of the...
Yes, I'll tell you everything I know. Our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve. It can also be made into a potion, which when extremely diluted, can cause people to experience unforgettable exhilaration. We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent more off it. The disappearances were also the boss's idea. I mean, this is the boss we're talking about.
He turned into water.
And now she can no longer talk. Such ruthlessness. I shouldn't have expected any less of them.
An outrageous act. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
So, we're just going back now? That's true, but
Traveler, Paimon, please wait.
Winnie.
I know you may not want to speak to me right now. Maybe you don't even want to look at me. Still, let me thank you again for defending me to the end, even after you learned that I'm a member of the Fatui. I guess. But regardless, I'd like the opportunity to set things straight. I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. I've spoken to you as myself, just plain Linny this entire time. As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because the goals of the House of the Hearth align with those of an orphan like me. That's all. That was how Father, whom you might know as the Knave, approached recruiting us back then too.
Knave? The one who controls the House of the Hearth? She's your father?
That's right. And since we're here, I was wondering,
So it should be mother.
would you mind hearing a story? Back when our parents first died, Lynette and I were left wandering the streets to survive, I took to surreptitiously observing an older street performer who did magic. It took me several days to figure out how he pulled off his amazing tricks. I took my sister through several streets until we found a crowded corner, and we began to perform magic tricks there. To my surprise, we proved to be pretty popular, and we could at least stop worrying about where our next meal would come from for a time. But I didn't want my sister to remain a street rat together with me forever. Before long, an aristocrat came to me and claimed that he wished to take us in after watching my performances.
So you went from orphans to nobility just like that?
That was how we felt at first, too. As if fate was on our side and we could say goodbye to those painful days. But I gradually discovered that while we were called foster children, he was really after my talent for magic tricks. He would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner attention, which he would then use to expand his social circles.
That doesn't seem too bad either. Better than roaming the streets at any rate.
It took a while for me to realize
Hello,
just how
country
dark
wall.
his heart really was. After one particular performance at a banquet, I discovered that Lynette was not on the same return vehicle as me. I waited a long time after we returned home, but she did not come back. I went to that noble's bedroom and asked him about her whereabouts. The answer he gave me was, she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so I sent her over as a gift. I mean, you'll be able to perform your magic regardless of who your assistant is, yes?
Oh no.
Yes करो, मैंने
So he
just
was
क्या
gonna-
किया, फिर कोई
But
ट्रेड,
wouldn't
फिर
that
कोई
against
डील.
laws deal with such people?
As far as outsiders are concerned, this is a relationship akin to adoption or foster care. They have their ways of escaping the eye of the law. I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so-called eminent person and hurried through the night. But by the time I leaped over the walls, avoided the guards, and made my way in, all I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood. And the knave was standing there in the darkness.
So, she'd already taken care of that guy.
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm, and had even discovered several girls hidden in a basement, all of them orphans. Father, I mean, the knave,
मैंने पाचिरिसु का जो डील किया है,
and so she
अच्छी
made
बात
me
है
an
तो
offer.
साइनी पाचिरिसु. Congrats.
The House of the Hearth welcomes you, for your interests align with ours. Here, none will ever betray you. Indeed, betrayal shall never be permitted here. I was hesitant to trust her. I mean, I had just been betrayed by nobles, but she was also quick to destroy the noble who had taken us in at first, giving us back our freedom.
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined the House of the Hearth.
She has her own plans. She has gained permission from the Tsaritsa to first use the Gnosis' power when she obtains it. She plans to use it to find a way to break the prophecy and save Fontaine.
So, she believes in that prophecy?
That's right. The whole House of the Hearth is currently working to combat that crisis. Today's case has also proven that people from
एक साल
Fontaine
के अंदर
can
मेरे
indeed
पास सब
dissolve
पोकेमोन आ
in
जाएंगे.
cold
अच्छी
water,
बात है bro.
thus further supporting the prophecy. Everyone at Hotel Booth Bété, including
अच्छी
the
बात है.
knave, has their roots in Fontaine. And we
ऐसी
will
आईडी
always
बना लो,
defend our homeland.
इसमें सब हो.
To us orphans, the only connection we have left to this world, apart from our family,
कुछ चीजें फिर भी मिसिंग रह ही जाएगा.
So,
मिथिकल
from
साहब
small
के
deeds
फिर
like
भी रह
distributing
जाएंगे.
magic pockets
Okay.
to huge schemes like stealing a Gnosis.
it's all right. I understand. The only thing I can do is relate all this to you. I just hope you can understand that even as a member of the house, I have never stopped making my own decisions, and that I believe what I'm doing is right. If you should need anything at all in the future, feel free to find me. I will do my
मेरा
best
ज्यादा
to
चैट
help you.
फिटनेस होता है इसलिए
As
सब
plain
पढ़ना जरूरी है.
Bye, Winnie.
अब तो खत्म हो गया हो. Last shadows under Grazer, leave the opera house. Right. What a long mission. What a long
Hey there.
this was.
What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as
Oh,
the
baseball
trial
game.
ended?
Were you looking for us down here?
Well,
Faceless ne
this whole
useless
thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel that we're getting closer to solving the serial
है।
disappearances
क्या
case,
फर्क
though.
पड़ता है?
Don't you think so too?
सारा जरूरी है।
What's wrong, my dear partner?
Sure, we're the ones who can crack a case that's been cold for decades now. And given that there's new evidence from the trial, there should be a trail of breadcrumbs for the Hydro Archon's people to follow now, right?
Ah, I see. I won't lie. I'm a little shocked to hear that from you. But I suppose you are just travelers who have only arrived in Fontaine after all. Sorry. I might have been too presumptuous.
आपने बैकग्राउंड पिकाचू का लीड इनवाइट किया, उसका हो ही नहीं सकता क्योंकि वो लोकल लीड में है।
Aw, and we were having so much fun investigating with you, too. It was like having new waters flowing into a stagnant mire, causing new hope to spring forth, and the reflection in the murk to become clearer. Sorry about that. I'm a bit prone to nostalgia. Wait, shall we have a farewell meal? You know, to commemorate our time as partners?
Do we really need to get that formal? Guess you really did treat us as partners, huh?
Well, I'd just like to have a proper ending to every important memory. That way there are no regrets later. Anyway, it would just be a meal, so it shouldn't take up too much of your time.
You don't have to twist my arm. If Boss Nappy is treating you, come
Oh, wonderful. In that case, why don't we return to the
Well,
court of Fontaine
इसको मिल
and
गया
head to the
आईडी में
Hotel de
काश
Bord?
सानी मिल जाता
I
है
believe
मजा
we'll make it just in time for
वो भी
dinner.
मिल ही जाएगा।
All right, then. Let's have our farewell meal.
Finally, man, this first act was really long, very long. Now I can finally do something else. Because of this quest, I was not able to leave this opera house. Because let's go there. All daily commissions done. Guide done. Commissions, claim reward. Teleport there. Let's go for
Add
extra
extra.
rewards.
Thank you for completing today's commissions. Here is your reward.
यार शाइनी मिला भी है। एक शाइनी मिला अभी पिकाचू वो वाले में, लेकिन वही है बिना उसी के। बिना
There's a
बैकग्राउंड
lot
वाला
that
मिला।
goes into managing an orchard. Watering, weeding, fertilizing.
सोच रहे वो
Add extra.
अभी नहीं, घंटे बाद चाइनीज की मिल जाएगा। हाँ क्या तो रहा हूँ, सब आपको मिल जाने बेस्ट है यार। लगे रहो नवाज, लगे रहो।
Youth is one of those things where you gotta use it or lose it. So, wanna train with me sometime? Add Astra.
मेरे बैकग्राउंड का लैपरेस मिला। First of all, it's time for some artifacts grind. How many? 378 basically I can get now. 2 primos. इतना ख्याल कर भूख लग गया. हाँ, तो 50 बचेगा जेनोसिस. सात और. It's a long way, Raj. It's a long way. स्कर्ट के नीचे निकाले. Need some. Yeah. Then कुछ तो है यहाँ पे जो करना है मुझे. बट मैं कर नहीं पा रही हूँ. अगला यहाँ पर है. स्कर्ट के एक एक करके सारी चीजें, सारा टैलेंट सब कर स्कर्ट के. Such a nice.
Help protect us.
डॉगेश भाई की पीटे हैं. डॉगेश भाई. डॉगेश भाई माफ करना बट मार छोड़ दो. हेलो जी मेरा लास्ट डॉगेश भाई. सॉरी डॉगेश भाई. डॉगेश भाई यहाँ भी है. आइए जी डॉगेश भाई आइए. एट हो गए. ओके, इसके लिए 2 चाहिए, इसके लिए मतलब 6 9 6 और अगले में भी 9 जाए तो 9 9 27 और 6 दूनी 12 27 और 12 39 में मेरे पे अभी सिर्फ 4 4 12 ही यानी टोटल 39। मेरा दिल पुकारे आजा
Nice. Nice. You overestimated me.
What a show begin. I'll protect us.
कर ही लेते हैं किसको फिर 13 guide to contention 7 piece सारे मटेरियल perfect mechanical तो ये 13 पे 13 चलेगा
I'm alive! Someone else.
These ones are very hard. I need to learn about them first. Defeat them. Well. Not bad though for today. That is it for right now, trainers. Well, everyone, I'll see you at the next. Bye bye.